Your manual, riveting reading.
Yes, I'm sure. It has in our policy that you guys approve the attendance procedure manual every year. This is a routine item. This is Kelly Vernon's Bible that she works with when it comes to attendance. Comes from the student attendance counting. It is our version, or what affects us, matching the student attendance accounting handbook that comes from the state. She is the one that develops it and puts it together. Please don't ask me any questions about it because I may not know the answer on this one, but I trust Kelly in what she's doing. Yeah.
She knows a lot.
I just have one question. It was on time. What is our official time, our attendance time during the day?
9.
10 o'clock.
10, isn't it?
Is it 10?
o'clock. Yeah.
Okay. It had an example
Whatever-
here at 10
whatever.
o'clock, but I just.
Yeah. Whatever
Confirm
period is 10 o'clock at each school, that's our attendance.
That's what it used to be.
Okay.
Yep.
Keep saying there's 20 minutes.
Oh, one cut down. That's good.
Yeah, all campus in the district will take additional snapshot attendance at 10 a.m.
Mhm.
Okay. I missed that part. Oh,
And
right
that's our-
below where I
that's-
wrote my note.
That's
Okay. Thank you.
That's attendance for
Thank
funding.
you.
Attendance still counts for kids for all the hours between, but for our funding attendance, that's when we take it.
Other comments, questions?
How much easier would we save money going to enrollment based funding, like by not having to do some of this and waste time doing this?
You're talking if the state did that?
Yeah.
I've seen it go both ways. We used to have enrollment based years ago. I think we would probably get a little more money if it was enrollment based. Right now, just because of the attendance problems, or attendance has been more difficult, especially after COVID. So enrollment based would probably get us some more money.
I just wondered, like, the labor in keeping track of all that. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it would probably be
In the homebound attendance. And
a lot less procedure, because it would only be taken basically back then when it was attendance based.
Like,
It was
For
Teams Day,
truancy.
the last Friday in October. That was your attendance that you got funded on. And you didn't have to do accounting every 6 weeks, so it probably would save some time.
we could teach instead of count.
But if we just go back to Brittany's enrollment in here and answer your questions here, 1764 is our ADA.
Yeah.
For October day that we checked at 1795 is enrollment. It's nearly 30 students different.
I'm saying more like time savings, not like, I know we would end up with more money enrollment versus who
Mhm.
actually, but more like staff time saving money. like
Bonus both ways.
savings, not- Yeah. Sorry. Moving on. That was supposed to be fast.
Other questions, comments? Would entertain a motion to approve the attendance procedures manual.
Motion.
second.
Moved and seconded to approve the attendance procedures manual. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Consideration of possible approval of a resolution to declare a good cause exception for HB3 armed security officer requirement.
In the last legislative session, there was a law passed that every campus needs to have an armed security personnel. They said if you didn't have every campus have an armed security personnel, the board had to pass a good cause exception. Having one armed officer or security personnel per campus would be pretty expensive for us. And so we've chosen to use the Guardian plan. We have a good team of guardians who guard our campus. But in order for us to be compliant with the state, we have to pass our good cause exception that you guys see to declare that we are not hiring an armed officer per campus, but we are using the Guardian plan. So we're just cleaning this up a little bit. When I looked back, what brought this up was our security audit we're going through right now. And when I look back to our board minutes, I realized that we'd never passed one. So that's why you see it today. So when the auditor asked me today if we had that, I said, today, no, tomorrow, yes. And so
Solid.
that with your approval, of course.
Yes.
So this is just a little bit of cleanup and for us to officially say that we're using the Guardian plan.
Motion to approve.
Second.
As amended, does this need to say October? Adopt this 21st day.
Oh, it sure does.
Okay.
Because it is not September.
As amended.
Yes, thank you.
Moved and seconded to approve the resolution. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Get rid of one more sticky note. Consideration of possible action on campus improvement plans, which we all got in email, and I'm sure spent our lunch hours reading. Everybody's nodding their heads.
So we passed the district improvement plan. The campus improvement plans are based on the district improvement plan. This is a yearly thing that we put together. The campuses put strategies in there that they will use to address each goal. And I submit these to your approval and would welcome, Mrs. Hale would welcome any questions that you might have over campus improvement plan.
Yes.
She said so.
I unfortunately don't have a lot of questions, as I was rather tied up this weekend. I printed them, but I didn't read them. My bad. But it is a living document, and I
Yes,
realize
it
I
is.
say this every time. Our campus improvement plans that we all get, and we go through these, sometimes seems like something that we just go through and go through and go through. But if you start comparing them, there are changes that are made annually, depending upon direction, depending upon state law, depending upon recommendations from council. There's just any number of changes that get made in there that provides a basis of direction for the district. And sometimes becomes something that we're just checking a box to make sure that we have it done, but also does provide some direction as these groups are able to sit down and go through and come up with all of these plans. Involves a chance to really flesh out some of our procedures and policies. So would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the campus improvement plans as presented. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, everyone.
Consideration of possible approval of modified joint election agreement with Ockaltree County.
This is the same election agreement that you guys approved just a few months ago. The county, when it got back to them, they made one change. They moved from $12 an hour to pay for election personnel to $15 an hour. So since it was a change, we're bringing it back to you guys for approval.
Move to approve. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the modified joint election agreement with Ockaltree County. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Consideration of possible approval of AstroTurf warranty replacement proposal, which is in your handout.
Okay, now our real work begins, or at least some discussion. We have the just to bring you guys a little bit of history. The red and white fibers on our turf were degrading too fast. We started a warranty claim with them some years ago, 3 years ago. We finally have got this year. I would give due credit to our coach A.D. Hernandez and to Jesus Ramirez, who took point on this, and they've got with the company and enticed them into getting in here and actually addressing this. They will just review. They will replace the red and the white fibers for free, but they're offering that they replace the entire field for a discounted rate. They're offering that we replace it for $370,000. That's about a $200,000 discount on this turf and what it would do for an entire field. You guys know, because I've emailed you about this, I've given you this information. We also checked with them on the possibility of a concussion plan. That would be an additional $137,000. And let's see, we asked for a sample of the turf. We've taken a look at that, and I can go get that, and we can look at it in here. Mr. Schallenberger has taken a look at that, and he has some experience with turf. This is a better quality product. It has some technological advances in the turf that weren't in the turf that we put in. They can get it done before January if we make the decision. Am I right on that, Coach Hernandez?
Yes. After the football season ends, they'll start.
When does soccer start?
we're gonna start in December, so we don't have much time to push this off.
Yep.
Right when football ends, they'll get in here probably the next week. They'll have it done before soccer. You're talking really games are gonna be played after Christmas for soccer. So we'll have it done. And that's with soccer lines not painted on anymore. That's actually gonna be
Installed
part of
into
build.
the turf.
We did an infiltration test.
Yes,
Like that.
I was about to tell
So we
them.
don't have drainage problems.
Right.
We're all good there. Just the quality of turf that was put on the field was not good. And now they're trying to backtrack and clean up their mistake. And so this is the route. And I would suggest if you would like a suggestion, I would say do it because we're already 6 years into an 8-year warranty. In 2 or 3 years, we're gonna be looking to replace anyways with an additional $200,000 to $250,000 on top of what you see there. So to do it, I know we put money aside. I would say let's do it now.
And
Not even think back because we're going to give ourselves another 8 to 10 years with the turf
Yes.
that's really needed.
I would commend the board as well at this time for the wisdom to set the money back per year, about 6 years ago. And that gives us the opportunity. Right now, we have about 340,
290, right?
290, but
And then-
with the
plus
40,000 that we would have put in this year. So that's 320,000, correct? Is that right? 330,
Yeah.
330,000. So we would have to use fund balance for an additional, the 40,000.
260.
So, but again, I commend the board for putting the money back because right now we're ready to go with just a little bit added. So I open it up for discussion. And while you guys,
Talk to me about alternative one, this 10-year maintenance package.
Mr. Hernandez, you want to talk about, or either one of y'all?
I'll give you my opinion. I owned a turf cleaning business for 10 years. It's not worth it because what we've seen, the big companies cleaning, they use the same machine that we had and they'll come in and do something in 4 hours that it takes us 16 to do. And they'll charge $2,000 more than what we charged. I personally, I would be a bit against the maintenance. Coach Simmons owns that business now. I don't know what he charges because I got out 5 years ago. But I would highly encourage us to use him. And if we do that yearly, we're going to come out ahead.
And the regular,
We have been doing it.
Right.
And there's already an amount set aside in the athletic budget. But the problem is this company wants us to use them and get more money out of us. We don't have to do that. We've already got a plan in place. They're going to try to say that that our warranty can be voided and stuff like that. No.
And they've always,
it
If somebody else cleans it,
because
but
they're machine
it's
made.
exactly-
it's the
It's the
exact
same thing.
machine.
it's the same thing.
It's the
So-
exact machine.
And we've actually started this year going back to preventative measures, brushing the field before Friday
Yes.
night games.
Yes.
So we're going to take care of the field a lot better than what's been done.
When we got it, when we did the last turf, the company gave us a groomer machine and Coach Corsi was really good about using it. Since then, it probably hasn't been done.
Right.
Other than the yearly cleaning. But
Until now.
But we are.
yeah, until now.
Yeah. We get out there and before a home game on Friday nights, Friday in the morning, it gets brushed the way it should now. With the way the turf is now, it doesn't do much.
Yeah.
It's
brushing
the
up the
fiber,
road,
it's just
Barbie
kinda,
doll.
With the new turf, we can get it cleaned properly.
So who's going to look over that warranty to make sure that it doesn't void the warranty if we use another company?
I would say either
You going to look over
Hernandez
that,
or
Coach?
I.
Make sure that the warranty doesn't say anything in there about if you hire a different company to clean it, our warranty's no good.
And when did we start having trouble with the red and white?
So 3 years ago,
Yeah,
probably.
3 years ago. So is there any qualms about going back to the same company here?
That was
I know this is a different turf.
That was
Same
my
company.
question. That's why I wanted them to send us a sample of the turf because I wanted some guys that have
Well,
seen
and
it.
Richard, part of the issue too with this is that they're going to warranty a portion of what's already out there with the red and white. And if we went with an entirely different company, it'd be starting all over.
Yeah, we wouldn't get the
We
discount.
wouldn't get the discount.
Is that a real discount or is that a made up number?
That's
No, that's a real.
That's a pretty good discount.
Good question.
And I will also say
That's a
this,
good question.
if we just do the warranty work, they're not making any money. And the quality of, I would be real suspect of the quality of work that we're gonna get if they're just gonna do the warranty work instead of these companies, all they wanna do is they wanna put in fields. The whole thing. They don't want to do warranty work. They don't want
Patch
to
here,
do,
patch there.
they don't want to do the little,
And it never
little
lays
piddly
down the
stuff.
same.
they wanna do the whole thing.
And
This
how-
was my argument too. So to them, they declared that the red and white portion of the turf was no good. How do you not declare the green no good? It's the same turf.
Yeah.
So I would not suggest going down the route of just red and white and getting that fixed. The whole turf, it's all poor quality right now.
It
Say
is.
something ugly to them, coach? Is that
I
why they
did-
don't
I
like
did
the
it,
red
but-
or what?
I did it, but I've talked to Mr. Brown for a while. When I got here, Coach Haberther was trying to get this done.
Yeah.
And I've tried to just stay on it, just so we could get this finished. But it's been a runaround for 3 years, like Coach
Yeah, I
said.
mean, that's part of the reason I'm asking that question. There's been some resistance here and then fixing their problems. How do we pay for it?
The other 40.
Budget amendment.
Yeah, it would come out of fund balance. I believe so.
90 currently set aside.
Plus this year.
Plus this year's 40.
Plus this year's 40.
That's if we don't go with a concussion pad. If you want my suggestion, I would say do it. And you ask why, use this analogy. If you're laying carpet and you know the little thin layer that goes underneath the carpet, some people would say it's not needed, but it's there for protection. You think about who uses our field. Soccer's going to be on there. What's one of the biggest problems in soccer right now? Concussion. What's one of the biggest problems in football? Concussion. Who else is out there on our field? The back league with little kids playing flag football. I mean, I think there's a huge benefit, and I know it's extra money, to having a concussion pad down there.
How
It's a whole bunch of money.
proven is the concussion pad?
If we did the concussion pad, the only way I would say yes is I want to see some GMAX test numbers on the concussion pad.
Yeah, like how
They do-
proven is it?
They do GMAX testing that test
The absorption.
the absorption, yeah, the energy of the
With and
of the
without
field,
it.
with and without. Because they used to do GMAX tests all the time when they first started. Everybody started doing turf.
Mhm.
What's your G? They would want a GMAX test it to
Failed
see if
it,
it
they
needed to
failed
be
the
cleaned. And if it failed, then
Yeah.
we need to clean it and fluff up the infill, and so then it'll pass a GMAX test. So, how much better is it? What do we gain for the extra $130,000?
So I thought you had a recommendation on this earlier.
When I sent you guys the email, I said I'm not recommending the concussion pad to you, but I'm open to adding it if you guys feel like doing that.
Does the concussion pad have to be approved today? If we were to approve the balance, could we get additional studies and approve it at a later time and still be able to make it work? I'm just asking Flo and how their scheduling would be.
When's our next board meeting?
We haven't said it yet, but Thanksgiving Day, I think.
But if you approve the
Yeah.
turf, that's going to be that's
That's
going to
the
take your
thing.
time, right? Is
Yeah.
the turf and the
Because-
Ranger and the Perryton
Because
and
the
all that.
pad is generic. Yeah. They don't have to make colors. They don't have to make emblems. They don't have to make letters.
We would have to make a decision by the next meeting, just because
Right,
that concussion pad is going down first.
Right.
Yes.
Then the turf will
Yeah.
go on.
but it wouldn't be anything that would be special made.
Right.
Yeah.
They got
For
a
us,
big,
it'd
huge
be-
roll of concussion
Yeah,
pad.
yeah.
Do they send it or not?
But is the turf? Does it make it? Does that mess up
No,
your field? So the same. You're going to take the
Right.
same field. Doesn't make it.
It's not going to
thicker,
change your
make it
base.
bow
It's
it
not going to
more,
change your
and-
crown. It's
Okay.
not going to, it's not
it'll
gonna-
look exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, it's a thinner layer.
And it's for 25 years.
Warranty.
So,
yeah.
you know,
Because
2.5
you build
tops
new
on
turf
it.
over the
Right.
top of it. I would, I mean, if I was to point a direction,
I would
I like the idea of what they're looking at here. We've put our money back, our $40,000 back every year, and now it's time to break the piggy bank to be able to pull it out. I'd like to be able to get some data. I was just looking at the calendar here. Probably our next meeting would be the 18th,
18th.
probably.
If we had to get together for a lunch to do this.
If we had to do a quick lunch
Yes.
meeting for something, we could make it happen. But
That's gonna
but
we may have
probably
to do
put
that
us
for
right
concession
around the
stand.
time that we'd be ready to start laying this thing.
right.
Somewhere right in there.
So
Depending on how football plays.
So we might, the balance this week, talk to them. Again, this is just my idea, sit in the motion. Start talking to them, say, hey, let's get some data. We're interested in the shock pad, but we want to see some more data on it. But
And what do y'all specifically want to see? I mean, because obviously we don't have data here.
Right. I want to see a GMAX test on a field with a concussion pad and the same field without a concussion pad.
With
New
with
turf.
with the concussion pad that they're going to provide.
Right. The one that they're going to
That they're
Provide.
gonna provide.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see, how much
It'd be
difference
interesting
there
to
is.
have
Yeah.
how big of a difference.
Yeah.
Brains are important.
I think
They
that's
are.
That's worth it.
I think we can approve this as the basic package.
Yeah.
And then we can get the testing and add that at a lunch meeting.
Yeah.
But I recommend we go ahead and approve the basic package if that's what we're going to do today.
Chair
Yes.
would entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to accept the recommendation from AstroTurf Corporation for the full field replacement with the 8-year warranty. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next item, consideration of possible approval of Wright Elementary change order regarding air conditioning units.
When we began renovation of Wright Elementary, we noticed that there are 2 large units handling 4 classrooms, which means 2 classrooms are going to share a thermostat for 1 unit. Doesn't set up the best situation because when 2 teachers or 2 staff members share a thermostat, one of them's not getting probably what they want. And that's been, I would say anecdotally, I don't have scientific evidence on that, but I've been through many of those discussions in some of my previous buildings.
I do, because I shared one of those rooms.
So it is obviously best case scenario for each thermostat to control that room for that unit. So that's where, and this, Alan Kemp was the one that caught this and looked at it, brought this to our attention, began the discussions about possibly changing this so that we have, so that all 4 of those classrooms can have a thermostat that controls their classroom. Between of the renovations between the high school and Wright Elementary, I believe this is the only spot that was sharing thermostats. Am I right in that, Alan and gentlemen? This is the only spot between the high school and Wright Elementary that was forced into a sharing thermostat.
High school had-
Same scenario.
Yeah.
But we're changing it. At the
But
high
it
school.
got it was getting fixed. Okay. And so in this one, so we asked them to develop 2 plans for us. One puts 4 new units on top of the roof, with each one having their own thermostat for the 4 classrooms. The other, and the 2 large units would be moved over somewhere else in the district to be used because they're fairly new units. The other change order is to keep the 2 large units on top of the building, add 2 smaller ones, and the 2 large units would then be managed by one classroom each, and the extra air would be pushed out into the hall to just help the air conditioning and the heat in the hall of those 2 units. And then the 2 smaller units would be, they would feed the other 2 classrooms. So
which is which?
The 45 is the
45 is keeping the large units there.
That makes sense, but just
Yes.
When we say large, it's a ton difference.
What's up there now is 245. So that extra CFM for the
What do you suggest, Alan?
I suggest this, make it be, keeping the 2 units and
Adding the smaller one.
That would be my suggestion as well.
This- this-
Okay.
Jack with that.
Convince,
Basically, and it's, like I said, you're looking at 700-800 CFM, 100 CFM is out in the hall off. Just add a little more temper out in the hallway.
Our engineers,
convince me that
Last
everyone
longer in the
having their
classroom,
own
don't work as hard.
thermostat is worth $45,000.
It's your call.
teacher retention
Miss
strategy.
Chisholm.
Teacher retention
It's worth
strategy.
I'm just thinking about our office. We have 8 offices with one.
Stop.
Yeah, same way.
You know, it all runs off of one, and if somebody's unhappy, they add a heater or they put on a sweater.
Do you have
One of the two.
little children to keep up with
I
while
would
you're
say-
doing that may or may not have gotten sweaty at recess?
I would say that's easy to do in an office
And you've
when
got-
it's, I mean,
yeah, 'cause
when
you've
it's
got
a small
30
space.
kids in your
That's the
classroom
reason
complaining
we're
one way or
probably
another.
going, because they're doing it in high school, but they're not doing it over here.
I think we need to be fair to each classroom.
Yes. I do too.
And you know, just so,
I didn't say no, I said convince.
yeah,
We're just
well,
being cheeky.
to answer
I
your
thought
question,
it my last
I can
4 years, so
easily-
I think it's worth it.
I can
Do
easily
it.
put a space heater or a small fan in my office, and I can regulate the temperature pretty well. But in times where the electricity goes out or a heater goes out in a classroom, and we try and put space heaters in that classroom, we'll put 2 or sometimes 3 if the electricity will handle it, and it still won't warm the classroom very well.
Well,
So
and like
it's
you
just-
said, you got one.
it's harder to
person in your
regulate that
office
amount.
And there's 30 kids in the class,
Yeah.
30 people.
And
Yeah.
Another thing is sharing the keys, like someone else has a key to your classroom because you have to get in to open, to turn on your thermostat.
Or you don't have the key and
Or
you
you
can't.
don't have the key, yes, and then you struggle with when you can work and when you can get in. Not everyone's comfortable with that.
We're hitting a sore spot with Jeff. I think he's
Hey,
kind
I
of
survived.
animated about
I'm
this.
fine for these people because I don't want them to do what I did.
I have
I want better for
unintentionally
my
kicked
teachers.
open a hornet's nest.
It's a good question.
Sounds good. So option B. Motion to approve option B.
Probably want to do these in 2 separate motions, so
Yeah,
um,
that's how they're listed, aren't they?
our choices are option A or option B, and then we can go look at this other one on the
Yeah,
outer coating.
Okay.
yeah. We need to motion on this one and approve it.
I'll move that we do option B for 45.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the possible change order option B on page 128 of our material. Any additional discussion or rocks to throw my direction? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next item is also a change order.
Okay, so this is related to external materials, siding. It's called EFIS. EFIS was a new thing to me I've learned about. It's like a siding that's going to go on the outside of the building. In the original plans, we were going to add the siding in the classrooms that are being redone. There's a small corner of brick that we weren't going to do anything with. Based on the colors that we chose for the EFIS, once everything gets up there, that old brick with the orange color of that brick is really going to stand out. It's going to hurt the uniform look of the building, and the orange color is really going to glare.
And this is on the inside?
This is on the outside. This is external.
Okay.
So, and it's the brick we're talking about is right over by the door you guys have been entering in. Some of you entered in tonight where they finished that area. From that door and that corner to the northeast corner is the brick that needs to get covered. And it's to make the building look uniform, to not let that old color stand out when you're looking at the building. That's why we're suggesting this. Now we can we can approve this change order and can use some bond money to cover this. It also was suggested, our builders have suggested we could also use contingency funds for this. They're comfortable at this point in phase one using this amount of contingency. They don't think it will be used later down the line. Am I correct on that?
I think we'll be fine.
Okay. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a change order that we're using the bond money from. We could use the contingency fund. But it is a change order, and change orders have to be approved by the board. So that's one reason you guys are seeing that.
So originally the color was going to be closer to the brick color. Is that the deal?
The color wasn't selected at that
Yeah.
point. It's just that after we selected that color and we just kind of held it up and looked at that brick, we went, "Ooh, that's going to stand out." It's good. So even if we don't do the EFS, we're bringing the EFS to you because that's going to give it a uniform look.
Mhm.
If you would rather not do the EFS, we're definitely going to paint the brick because that orange color is going to stand out.
Mhm.
And when we need it to match.
And painted brick doesn't stay painted. Well.
Yeah, painted brick is tough. And so
How many times can we paint it for what this is?
How big of a
Convince me, Wes.
we just need that. So really the advantage of using the EFS is it's going to be uniform. It's going to look exactly like the wall next to it. If we paint it, we'll match the color, but it'll still be painted brick next to the EVAs.
I know you told us where. How big of an area are we talking about?
I'm just guessing in my mind 25, 30 feet of side of a building from basically the door to the corner.
$1,000 a foot.
That's a lot.
That goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying running foot.
It may be.
Right,
It may be more.
There's also a couple of other places on this north side that the brick is there that we would like to cover with the EVAs also. The main portion is that northeast corner of the door that you went in. And there are some patch jobs where they've had to patch in brick on where there used to be doors. And that was one of the issues that the brick, it's not uniform because of the patchwork that was done with the brick, but also the uniformity of the EVAs.
So this is several spots.
But that's on just the north side, but that main largest portion is that northeast corner that Mr. Brown is describing.
What's the lifespan on the EVAs?
Guys?
Until it hails really good.
Stucco is what it is.
It's a synthetic stucco product.
Same we put on annex.
Yeah.
30 years, I would say.
And we apply with
It
a,
has a 20-year warranty.
we apply with a, resistant.
It's really, it's a synthetic, it's a synthetic stucco, basically. is what it is.
It's got a foam insulation board between the sheathing or the brick, and then the eaves on the outside. It's actually just gives insulation value.
That's a little bit of a small drawing here. You know, I don't know, you were more involved with where you were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, right there in that corner.
This is kind of our phase one area at the elementary school. So we had EPIS planned for overall the storefront, and then it was planned to keep the brick over in these areas. As Mr. Brown.
So that's more than 20 or 30 feet, I would
Yes,
say.
yeah,
Okay.
I would have to get my computer out to get you a better measurement.
That
But
makes more sense.
it's really the brick from this corner all the way to this corner here. And then everything else is already has EVAs on it.
Okay.
And because we have been hearing this is kind of a, this could be a problem in the future, the high school had a class to cover all the brick as well. So we're trying to be listening to y'all
And they spent a lot of time on the colors,
Mhm.
the committees have, and selecting things. I commend them for that, because I have learned over the years, the time people spend on that, the better it turns out. So they are doing that, and I think the colors are picking they just don't feel like, go with more brick.
Orange is hard to meld with.
And so I think that's really what they're thinking about, which I think is probably a good idea.
So is all the brick going to end up being covered by the end of this?
Yes, that's the direction.
That would be the only part left.
I think, when the part around the gym, I don't know if that's, get covered.
No, that's the back, and we're the only ones that
Maybe a
can see
little
it.
bit here and there. But,
I think we did
typically,
talk about keeping that was
it's
going to
about
stay, or
$15 per square foot. You can range between $12 and $15. But it has insulation. You put in here. We put 3/4, an inch and a half. We put insulation, so you get some R value out of that. And you have to put that over the brick first, and then they put 2 coats. We always put you put your insulation over, and then you put different layers of fiberglass mesh, which is we always make sure what they use is hail resistant. I wouldn't use the word hail proof necessarily, hail resistant fiberglass mesh, and they do that in two layers before they put the finish layer on. Then they put a finish coat over that.
Because it is synthetic, it does have a little give to it versus your cement based plasters that you can see crackings. Like that. So that is not something it's used in a lot of commercial applications because it does have a little bit of that give.
And the finish is actually it's flexible.
Yes.
It's not like a cement. It's got some flex.
Ouchie, but we want it to look well done when we're done.
Other questions? Or motions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Moved to second to approve change order proposal. A lot of numbers there. For the project to add the synthetic stucco finish over that existing brick. Is there any additional discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-1. Next item, consideration and possible approval of Perryton High School renovation project phase 1 budget.
okay, this I'm going to turn over to our builders and let them begin. You guys remember the last time we approved the plans. Now we're just approving the budget with some options.
Handouts for y'all.
Just mushrooms.
Same number.
Same number.
Same
thing.
Different colors. Thank you. What you're talking.
How right now? Well, I emailed that to the board members earlier. So yeah, I guess you can go to
There's three different
Thank you, sir.
We're not going to vote on that tonight, but
We'll talk about it.
it definitely coming out. Yeah.
Thank you. See,
Some more.
see, that was easy. Makes no sense to me.
Hey. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to read this.
Well, I still having this back here this evening. We're just going to be looking at the proposed budget for phase one of the high school. This phase one is this portion shown in this plan. It's roughly 2/3 of the high school. It's actually like 42% more square footage than the elementary school. It's just for context. So we're looking forward to kicking it off and really be cooking with gas this portion of the project. The good news is tonight is a lot of the thinking through and design has already been hammered out through previous Wright Elementary budget selections. You know, we've listened to y'all as far as the call system, how you like the 2 buttons instead of the 4 buttons. We've been kind of trying to incorporate a lot of the comments into the options that are presented, and Mr. Brown, these options that are selected with the yellow digits on the right are the best that y'all's needs. Whenever you look at the budget that I guess would be the estimate that Greg put together for your bond proposition here a couple of years ago, we're coming up with $6.433 million for the phase one portion, and with the $100,000 contingency, we're just $6,000 underneath that at $6.427 million. So we hope to not use a contingency, but even if it is used, we're still at budget at that point. We hope to be under budget. But also with the comments we've been getting and kind of trying to get these designs worked out, as far as like the EPIS, this includes continuous EPIS all the way around on the masonry. You know, on the pre-engineered building in the back that isn't part of the scope, that's not covered, but all of the masonry and the brick that's within this phase one is covered. And whenever we talk about like the individual thermostats for each classroom, we were definitely hearing that a lot whenever the high school came around. So we have 4 new units actually being installed in this phase one area to allow for individual control. So our hope is to have this really reflect y'all's needs, and as we learn about needs, to try to incorporate that into our plans and the budget. So we can kind of go item by item if you like and just kind of explain what we're proposing, and then maybe discuss that rate. Okay. Yep. The first item on here is probably going to be one of the more that y'all like to discuss. We're proposing as a the base we're proposing for this V hall area that's currently has like a paint half epoxy flooring in there. We're proposing to put VCT on that, which is just your typical 12 by 12 vinyl towel that you see everywhere. It's homogeneous all the way through, so you can wear it through and it all looks the same. It's really it's kind of the workhorse in commercial as far as flooring goes. That's typical. That's what the base would be in that area. But if you wanted to pick terrazzo to match the rest of the school, that's what this ad of $117,000. Our recommendation is to go with VCT. You have it at the junior high. It's ubiquitous anywhere you go. It won't be something that looks any different than what you see at other schools. But if that is something that y'all feel is an important decision to match, then that's the ad.
It's basically in the vocational hallway, which is, the epoxy flooring. It doesn't have the best look, but go in there and remove, basically we're going removing all that. And then putting in the base cost, we have to go put VCT back in its place. And then that ad is to add terrazzo.
In lieu of the VCT.
In lieu of the VCT. And it's about 2,800 square feet, which to put that in there. But one thing to think about is, on that second page, if we go in there and add the additional, classrooms, it's going to probably add another 4,000 square feet of terrazzo if I want to continue with. So
right.
Even though it's a $117,000, you would probably want to continue that, and in the rest of the addition, which would probably be an additional $250,000 to $275,000, which it's really not a $117,000 decision. It's probably
larger than
$350,000, $370,000.
And what about the science hallway?
That's what he's talking about.
That's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yes.
Not the.
Yeah.
So if you make this decision to add terrazzo, we're probably going to face the same decision in the science hallway.
And we would love,
Sorry, I was thinking edition of the SPED edition. I'm making sure we're talking about it.
Yeah, Science Hallway and SPED, all that would be additional. Yeah.
and, you know, and we would love to put Trazo in there.
Yeah, because well, carpet needs to, something needs done.
It's really, it's good stuff. It just, you know, it's gonna be, you know, people talk around 30. I think you know, it's gonna be really, now it's, people are talking about $35 a square foot.
VCT, you're looking at 5%.
Yeah, VCT.
So
Actually, the VCT that, you know, right now the price is what? It's $375, I think.
without your
Without
prep.
yeah, without
So, so how many times can you place VCT?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of lifespan are you seeing on the
Yeah.
VCT in hallways?
30 years.
or longer. I've seen I've seen the same VCT. Well, even right now, you have VCT. Well, actually, the flooring we're going to be removing is VCT.
All the classrooms are going to be VCT.
So
it's something that,
it lasts a long
yeah,
time.
it's the typical.
So what do you want?
We're good
instead-
sticking there.
For $300,000, what else do you want?
Get a lot more out of it.
Oh,
Yes.
I would like Mrs. Little
I
just
would
give
like
her the
her
opportunity to talk about this because this is one thing that the request for Terrazzo was coming from her, so I would like her give her a chance to talk to you guys.
So I really don't think most of it, but my concern was we're gonna end up with a building that's split in half. The majority is gonna have the terrazzo, which is lasts a lifetime. The VCT's got a 5-year warranty. The builders keep assuring me that they'll put it in properly and it will look nice and there won't be problems with it. But if you look in at the tiled section that's currently between in hall and the V hall, that tile just, it looks horrible. So you're gonna have a definite distinction between where the terrazzo ends and this new section starts. We kind of talked a little about the junior high where you can see where some of that VCT tile is coming up a little bit. Now, it's going to be cheaper to replace it down the road if we need to. I just am concerned that it has that 5-year warranty and it's something that probably will get replaced more frequently, whereas the terrazzo does last significantly.
How much extra VCT do we get? Just because I know, like, what if something spills on it and we don't clean it up right away? We have some sitting somewhere so we can match it in the future.
Yeah, typically we use extra material.
Okay.
You know,
In my experience, since I've been here, it seemed like about every 6 years, somewhere in that. They'll do away with
Color.
Yes.
especially if you're doing borders and colors like.
Oh, yeah.
Discontinue.
I mean, we've ordered some, they've still been able to get same number, same manufacturer, but it's still a little different because it's not the same accent.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it doesn't look
you can
nice.
pick them out, and most of that that's been replaced over junior high.
So would that be the,
Wood gives more, the screws work out.
when you're done with those hallways, the hallway, would that be the only difference is the flooring?
Yeah.
The rest of it will look the same?
Yeah, the wall panel open the second door.
So it would no longer be the stepchild hallway? It would be really nice right on.
It would look the same.
But really nice is expensive.
Was there a medium in between there?
So
Stained concrete or I mean,
We have stained concrete
Yeah,
at the
just-
shop and it flakes. It's
it
terrible.
wears kind of poorly.
It's terrible.
We don't generally recommend stained concrete. Not VCT that's homogeneous all the way through. So you can do an LVT or something like that. Then you do have a veneer layer that's like 20 mils thick, and then it's something different. So it really is a high wear floor. That's kind of what we recommend it for hallways. I'm not going to say there are options out there, but it's just.
I think the only place I've ever seen VCT wear out is from the checkout stand at Allsup's. They take it down.
That's really why.
Point taken.
It's probably at least 40 years.
That's 90% what you install in school. It is.
The area she's talking about, and then the north hall between the hall, that area is not, or not in real good shape. I don't know. don't know what was there before, what happened when they laid all that. Concrete there is
Not level or just?
voids and
Yes, it's not
there
level
may be some
either.
cracking under that.
Yeah.
I think that's an area that probably may have been, it's right there where the addition was done. And my guess is it probably was an area that probably had a little bit of slope to it. And it actually probably was outside the building as a sidewalk.
Yep.
And they went in there and tried to turn it in, instead of busting it out and pouring new concrete there, they probably used what they had. And just, I've seen this happen over the years. If you get because you have to use floor patch material. And if you don't use a really good, in that instance, I would say you want to use an Ardex exterior grade floor patch material. So if you don't do that and it gets wet, it's just going to come apart. So I think they probably did use a very good patch material underneath there before they laid their. We've gone in there and use really good material, and you have to prepare the surface underneath so it stick, and then you have to use something that's not going to come apart when it gets wet, and then you may have to actually. It'll actually take maybe 3 or maybe even 4 times of patching to get that smooth.
So you'll fix that for us?
That's what would have to be done
That's in the base.
to make that look good. Tear that up. We might get underneath there and look like we got to tear out looks like about a 12 by 12. We might just need to tear the concrete out and pour a new piece of concrete.
Yeah.
Possible. If it's falling apart.
We've done a little bit of looking underneath that existing VCT by that door. I believe it's actually overlaid on top of that paint tap box too. So if you have that flooring coming up, whatever it's stuck to is going to come through well. I think that also could be part of the issue along there. You could have bubbles in that.
Just over the years of just doing things and patching things and making, because sometimes you get into buildings and you'll end up with a difference. 3/4, sometimes an inch things are just not right, and you got to be able to marry that together. And you have to know how to patch that stuff and make it stick, or it's just not going to work. And if you don't come in with the right patch material, if you went down to the local hardware store and got your stuff, probably not going to work very well. So, because it gets wet, nobody falls apart. It isn't meant to be really wet. So I think we can handle that area, and if we do it and it falls apart, we'll come back. So, but I think that can be fixed. That real, the real rough looking area. I'm not sure if it was ever done well.
You also have VCT that's in your classrooms. That's original to the building too. So, that 9x9 VCT that has asbestos mastic underneath that we're abating, that's still VCT. That's been there since. Yeah, so that's a testament to how it can work.
Maybe sell some of that.
We just want some
Yeah,
of
it's a little.
Sell some of that also.
There you go. You're gonna make it out there.
But it's just made with the same color all the way through, same pattern. You can't. You have to wear it all the way through.
What do y'all think?
It's not included in this, is it? So it's another 100,000 on top of that.
And it'll be more because you want to do
More
it
on the
to
next
them.
phase.
Yes, but that's true.
I think for the VOTEC wing, I think VCT would be the way to go.
I really hate that. But what are you going to give up instead? Not the extra, like all through here.
We're pretty early into this, and we're going to start.
Yeah. I mean, the extra windows are probably more important than the terrazzo.
That's right. $250,000 goes a long ways. Classrooms.
Yeah.
And one thing Peyton was actually over at the flooring company. We debated if we should bring it up, but he ran across, they had a new flooring product in there, which was an LVT, which was 2x2 tiles, which is about, it's about, but I think they've gotten up to maybe they might have a 30 mil wear layer, and they look like terrazzo.
It does look like terrazzo.
It looks like
So I saw it this weekend.
So
Doing some looking.
what we would maybe like to do is actually, and the cost isn't terribly higher,
Yeah, it's closer to VCT than it is terrazzo.
Yeah. So we would almost like to get some of that and bring it and look.
So if we work with you on like a free experiment.
Oh, yeah, free experiment.
How far?
But I think like Corey said though, if you got that up against the other terrazzo, that's gonna clash, isn't it? Rather than just doing something completely different.
Well, a lot of times you're gonna make the transition at a door. So you're gonna.
And that's a
go
good
up
transition
and
right there from that hallway.
Yeah, there's that little
Yeah.
alcove.
In that flooring supplier, I think we probably had at least a dozen different samples of that in stock there. So if we pursue that some more, that might be a good option for you that we could bring back.
Kind of a value engineered thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, just we would like to at least look at it.
Yeah.
Bring it to and see what y'all think.
Yeah, let's just look at that way. We'll look at VCT. You want to take a look at this other stuff though. Bring it back to us and
So
show you some samples we can look at. And go ooh ah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So the next item is two-sided message board and clock. This was something at elementary schools we decided we didn't really need, but talking to Miss Little, we're really understanding how much punctuality and tardiness is something they combat in high school. And she requested that they have a clock per wing there at the high school. This seems like a lot for a clock, but it's also integrated with your bell schedule, and it's integrated with your critical communication system, so it can display messages there. I talked with the low voltage contractor about, hey, what cheaper clocks do you have? And he gave me an option, but by the time you have the electricity running to it and the coordination there, he said it's not worth it because there's other equipment you have to do to have it interface with that bill schedule. So this is something that isn't all in price. It's power over Ethernet too, so it's very easy for Ivan to move around. You have to have an electrician to move these or install them. It's a lot of electrical equipment is kind of going that power over Ethernet just to allow flexibility, and this gives you flexibility. Did you have something, Mr. Brown?
No, I was just going to mention what's proposed is power over Ethernet. If we went the other way, we'd have to have an electrician come and bring power to it. So.
And we're looking at probably a new circuit. That's where the cost kind of catches up. The next option here is to add mini splits in your exterior doors. This was something the engineers wanted y'all to see, just because you open and closing the doors, you have full air coming in there. You can have a little bit of heat going in that hallway to kind of combat the effects of that cool air. We decided, or I guess y'all decided on elementary school that wasn't quite necessary because there already really wasn't any heating and cooling in the hallways, and the base includes having drops from some excess capacity in these units into the hallways. So you already have new heating and air where you didn't have it in place before.
Agreed.
So that's what that alternate two is there. That's for your consideration. Number 6 is an ad per camera. Something else, talking to Miss Little, was we heard it's a big priority to have cameras on each entrance. So on the base, each entrance has a camera. This is just if you wanted to add an extra camera, if there was a blind corner or something, or preserving the camera you have. Talking to Mr. Brown and Miss Little, it was kind of understood that there's not a huge need for excess cameras past the exterior doors of this. So that's why that's not checked. Then the next one for this first area, L1, which is the V hall, is actually a chair rail in the hallways. This is actually throughout all of phase 1, so I spoke there. It is just that strip of a different colored strip on the wall panels throughout the hallways, just to kind of break up the hallway a little bit. So
like at the junior high.
Yes, like at the junior high. So it'd be essentially kind of where that cap is on your way to. Straight throughout the hallways, it'd be a black color, same plastic material.
I think it's about 1,600 feet.
Yes, I believe so.
A third of a mile.
So we've got that in the base just because the color selection committee liked the idea and it looks really good with the colors that picked. So we heard those priority and tried to make sure So on to area I-1. Area I-1 is this first half of this hallway here. Originally, whenever we were discussing putting new construction in this courtyard, these classrooms weren't planned to have windows because it's an interior wall. You don't generally have windows in an interior wall. But now with the proposed construction possibly moving to this north side, that would make this the interior wall. And we did not have, some of these classrooms had to, we're not planning to have windows because it will be an interior wall. So talking to Mr. Brown and Ms. Little, we're hearing that even if it's not a window outside, it'd be nice to have a window up high just so you can see out and get some exterior lighting, even if it is artificial lighting into the classroom. And then it kind of maintains the homogeneity of the different classrooms. You're not seeing, oh, well, they've got windows and I don't. So that's what this this number to add windows to the north side is for. And that gets windows in every classroom. The next add is to make it from 2 windows to 4 windows because the original bond property just had 2 windows priced in. So in our design meetings, we've been hearing the more windows, the better, especially with them being up high. So we're going to 4 windows just like we have in building. And that's all priced in. Then we have another message board clock. It's not selected right now because we're selecting it in this I2 area. So that's what's going on there. Move on I2, it's the same type option as I1 with the windows. We're adding them in there just so you have 4 windows for every classroom, even interior ones. And then when
I2 it includes those restrooms.
Yeah, the area down here with the restrooms. Then that has the clock in there. Now area K is the library, janitors, closets, servers. At the last meeting where we presented plans, we took feedback from y'all that these restrooms were not large enough, so they have been pulled from phase 1 and are part of phase 2. They can be redesigned and expanded. So
did the money for those go with it too?
So with K, this is just the area that we have shown as far as the money.
Okay. Yes. But I mean, when it was estimated for almost 6.5 on this.
Yes.
The money that should have gone with those bathrooms went to the next phase.
Bathrooms. Yes. So we pulled about $200,000 for for future phases. So area K with the library, our options there are we really don't have too much there. We there's already 2 clocks priced in there, just because it'd be nice if we have maybe a city hall going or something, have a clock in there, having this support capability. The really big option here is this door right here. Actually, our superintendent, Dan Summers, came up with the idea that this may need to be a larger opening because it's currently shown as a 6-foot wide opening, but this experiences a lot of traffic, and it's nice to close that down for your athletic events. So this option that we have selected here includes a motorized grill door. It's just like an overhead door. Goes in the ceiling, comes down, but you can see through it. It's got metal slats.
Like what's there, pretty much.
Yeah, it's just I think of it as a gate right now.
Yeah, it's a gate.
Oh, it is a gate.
Yeah.
It is a gate.
Yes.
It used to be.
Oh, it used to fall, yeah.
Long ago.
I thought it pulled down.
Put your key
It
in
doesn't now.
the
It's a
wall,
gate.
you turn it, and then it starts coming down. The reason the motorized function is important is because it integrates with your fire alarm system, but it has to have a pre-tension spring that opens the gate to the fire alarm.
If there's ever a fire,
That
it has to. People have to be able to open it up and get out.
So that's why they get fans. So, but I think that is a good recommendation there, especially with how much traffic this hallway experiences and how much y'all really have the campus as an academic side and your more your side where you have your theater events or your basketball games. It's nice that you have it separated like that. It's kind of a natural spot for it. On to H1, it's the same type of windows deal we're experiencing where this was an interior wall. We have it added back in there though, so they're because this is going to be left open as what we're currently doing. Then there's one camera for this hallway that we're planning on. Then H2, we have windows in. Then we have from 2 windows to 4 windows in this area. That's what the window adds. So whenever you total all the selections here, we come to the 6.327 number with the $100,000 recommended contingency. We're at 6.427.
Just since there was a topic earlier, we were talking about the windows, and I'm sure y'all already figured this price in, but the EIFS stuff, whatever, that'll be on that north wall. I guess that's been taken out.
Yes. So our plan is we're going to go ahead and tie that kind of like the north wall of the elementary school, and we'll leave it in that it's weatherproof. We'll leave it in that state until we begin phase 2, where we're going to be
Making it interior.
Yeah, making it interior. So then you're not paying for your exterior finishing and then ripping out or covering it up. If that makes sense.
I figured y'all did.
Just
had that.
I know, I appreciate you asking because that would be
a fun one to find.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to get in the bud.
And also, one thing that's going on in this project is a lot of electrical for the entire job, like the main MVP in that electrical room, kind of by the cafeteria. All that equipment's being replaced. And we're also running a sewer line all the way over across the front to the manhole that's over at the north southeast corner of the school. And there's going to be a new sewer line in this project. So a nice little bit of the sewer line and the electrical is going to be in this part. And also we're hooking up the water line to the loop in this, to where they'll have better water pressure. Basically water going to be coming in the building to keep us instead of just
The electrical and plumbing numbers we got have a lot of that kind of fixed overhead cost for the whole job, but you're going to be using future phases. So that is nice to go ahead and get that out of the way, especially before you have another year of inflation.
Any questions about all that?
Now it's your shot, y'all. Questions, comments? Changing the whole color scheme to K-State purple. I've been asking for rocks thrown at me all night long.
You had a pretty good weekend.
The wall material is the same.
Did have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Better than most others.
Yeah.
And it's KU this week.
Okay, then.
Kill some with words.
Yeah, it's real fun. It's not easy.
Okay, so what we're looking for here, with any other questions or comments, is a motion to approve the budget as presented by Greg and Pete.
Do we need to say anything on? We're waiting on that. The flooring.
We probably should have in the text of the motion that we reserve the right to go back and relook at revisit item for line 1. And once we get the other samples in, we can get back together and take a look at that. Because I'm interested in seeing what that stuff looks like, what it's going to cost. That's with that big of a, would you say 30 mil over the top?
Yeah.
Stuff that lasts longer than I'm around.
It's not the standard.
It is. It's my standard. Lasts longer than me. Y'all get to deal with it. It's like the bomb technician. Somebody asked him if he ever got nervous in his work, and he said, Now I'm either right or it's no longer my problem.
That's
It's not
encouraging, Wes.
funny.
Go ahead.
That's not funny.
I'm over there to approve the budget contingent on item number 1.
Your second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the budget for phase 1 here as presented. Contingent on discovery on line number 1. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Last item.
Us too.
Date for the next board meeting. If you all are good with the
Are we gonna
18th,
talk
it's
about
already on there. Talk about what?
Not in meeting,
Okay.
because we don't have it on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
Okay.
But our next meeting, we'll talk about the concession stand.
Or we
Or we
might have a.
we might have a short meeting between now and the 18th. What's the 18th of November look like for y'all?
It's a rough day.
It's your birthday?
No, it's my daughter's birthday.
Your daughter's birthday.
Ooh,
So
I
you're up
missed
here, we'll
one
have
for
a cake.
Charlotte.
Oh,
You don't think she wants to
Give her the day off from you.
learn about,
birthday present.
say, learn about civics today, baby.
I won't bother you today.
Is the 19th better?
Sure.
That'll be game night.
It's game night.
It'll be good.
And that's a home game versus Canadian.
Is it? Okay.
Ooh.
That's red.
18th will be better.
Okay. Okay. If everybody's cool with the 18th,
Mhm.
May be missing, but
And Jed will be missing too.
we have,
Maybe.
Well, what are the alternate
What
dates?
other days? Wednesday's the biggest day.
I'll tell you not to do it. I'm just saying I might be missing.
we'll see what we get when we get closer. We may very well have a short noon meeting to address a couple of issues that we have left hanging here tonight.
That's possible.
So, okay, anything else? Meeting adjourned. Who had 9:15? Do I need to tell, do I need